The advanced user doesn't exist. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a provocative title, I'll admit, but I believe that by now, advanced user has become an enormous scapegoat, a convenient label we use to justify so many other things. A perfect excuse if we're being honest. Let's be clear, advanced users do exist, absolutely, but they're far, far fewer than those who currently define themselves as such. We're talking about computer engineers, programmers, though not even all of them, hackers in the noble sense of the term, people with truly particular abilities. We're talking about thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, and certainly not millions. It's a small, restricted number. The reality is much simpler and at the same time much more fascinating. The advanced user is nothing more than someone who reads the documentation, who makes mistakes, who pushes beyond, who wants more, who tries, who goes beyond their limits. They're a thirsty user who sees computers and computing in general as a great game, or better yet, as a great adventure. They're someone who builds their skills over time through various failures. They don't know everything, and this is the key, and are perfectly aware of their own limits, deliberately conscious of them. It's not about innate genius, but applied curiosity, patience, positive stubbornness. You see, seeing this type of person, who often, I admit, can be a bit unpleasant in their passion, almost mystified, almost guilty of their acquired competencies, bothers me a bit. Why? Because you say it's for advanced users, when in reality, you're not accepting the fact that you're simply afraid, and that you're lazy, terribly lazy, and that you want everything served on a silver platter with a nice label on top, install and ready to use. Let me say this clearly. Recently, as all of YouTube now knows, I approached the most extreme anti-distro philosophy. I started first with Void Linux and ended up inside Alpine Linux to fully embrace LabWC, the anti-desktop par excellence. I built my environment step by step, line by line, black screen after black screen. My competencies were zero in these environments. Zero. I didn't even know the key bindings for Hyperland, let alone if I knew what Rofi or Tofi were and what difference there was between them. Nor did I know anything about WABAR or the LabWC configuration file. I see nothing advanced user here. Here we're talking about advanced ignorant in the strict sense of the word. Ignorant in the etymological sense, one who ignores. I watched a few videos. I always thank Ricardo Palumbo for this. Browsed through his dot files, broke more than a few login accesses, badly tried to imitate what I saw. Then, almost exhausted, I started looking at the documentation. I read it, and I began with a basic setting, and day after day, week after week, failure after failure. I'll just tell you that it took me a whole day to set up the script that would let me click on the battery icon to open a customized Rofi menu that gave me different brightness options, things like that. Yet, I see nothing advanced in it. It's just invested time. It's just applied curiosity. So I'm not a genius at all, quite the opposite. As I get older, I'm even quite slow at learning new things. And with Alpine, I still often make mistakes confusing APK with apt. And I still need to set up a terminal that allows me to do Control to change the font size. Yes, even I have problems like that, so basic and stupid. Yet here I am, inside my customized system. Inside my almost 10-year-old ThinkPad X270 that runs like lightning, that gets 5 hours of battery life, without, I should mention, having changed the batteries it was bought with, which I'd say are now completely worn out. This experience of the anti-computer, the anti-distro, the anti-desktop has changed my life. It's made me grow. It wasn't my advanced user qualities that allowed me to do it, but my qualities as an enthusiast and curious person. And you know what the most absurd thing is? Once you start this journey, you realize how close all of this was. We're not talking about black magic, about impossible stuff. We're talking about reading, trying, making mistakes, about dedicating time to understanding instead of time to complaining. And the satisfaction you feel when that command finally works, when that script does exactly what you wanted. No prepackaged distro can give you that feeling. No theme bought on the internet, because it's yours. You built it with your own hands, with your own mistakes, with your own stubbornness. I didn't even know there was a possibility to put Firefox in RAM. And between you and me, I'll make a specific video guide for this. I didn't know you could change the boot order from the terminal inside a Linux distribution. I didn't know so many other little things. You see, precisely my not giving in to, I don't know, this is too advanced for me, allowed me to undertake a journey into a parallel world where I learned many small things that add up to many other small things that other adventures have brought to my repertoire. It's called experience, not knowledge. It's not innate, it's not a secret, and it's within everyone's reach. I always think about the things I don't know rather than those I do, and I let them take over me. Yes, because even if I lived a few hundred years, I could never know everything. This is the path of knowledge, the awareness of not knowing. Because let me tell you, the reality is that we're just spoiled and lazy. Don't be offended, please. I perfectly understand that everyone has their needs, and that not everyone has computers as a great passion or great hobby. You have a job, you have little time, you have other priorities in life. It's absolutely legitimate. I'm not asking you to create your own environment on your hyper-optimized distro. But please, stop saying it's for advanced users. Come on, you can do many things yourselves in a few minutes. You simply don't want to. And we all like to tell ourselves that it's other people's fault, that it's too complicated, that it requires who knows what competence. But never truly looking in the mirror and making a serene self-critique about who we are and what we want. This doesn't just apply to computers and operating systems. It applies to all of life and its infinite facets. We're in the era of likes, of we all agree, of everything is beautiful and easy, where criticism has become compromising and troublesome, where difficulties, pain, and even death are unacceptable. In short, it seems to me that our society no longer knows how to live. And I want to be clear about one thing. I'm not saying everyone needs to use Alpine Linux or build their own window manager from scratch. That's not the point. The point is the attitude. It's stopping hiding behind the advanced user label every time something requires 5 more minutes than usual. It's understanding that the difference between you and that power user you admire isn't innate talent, but simply the hours that person has dedicated to banging their head against problems that seemed impossible. And you can do the same. Today, right now. So what's the message? That the advanced user label is often an excuse. A comfortable excuse we tell ourselves to not leave our comfort zone. An excuse applied to everything, not just computing. A disastrous practice for our collective good, because we're entrusting knowledge and experience to others, not to ourselves, to our strengths, to our innate capabilities. I think that if 100 of us were on a desert island, after a month, they'd very likely all be dead. I'm not convinced that the common man from 100 years ago would have met the same fate. I believe he would have been capable of surviving. But the truth is that a desert island isn't necessary to demonstrate our capabilities and test ourselves. A terminal and a few hours to dedicate to it are simply enough, rather than paying $50 to have 4 personalized themes and free pre-installed programs. We can do better. The real difference doesn't lie in innate competencies, but in the willingness to explore, to make mistakes, to learn. To read that damn documentation instead of waiting for someone to prepare everything for us. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be curious and a bit stubborn. The rest comes by itself, one failure at a time. Thanks for watching this video.